Black Mirror Bandersnatch has been designed to have multiple endings as it's a choose-your-own-adventure movie. There are safe endings, boring endings, and dark, twisted endings as well. Depending on what you want to see, obviously it's in your hands. Whilst some of the endings allow you to go back, some are final. So, what are all of the endings to Bandersnatch? Let's find out. Before I go ahead, make sure you go over to my Twitter @BrainPilot_ and tweet me what show or movie you would like me to review next. So without further ado, I'm BrainPilot and here is Black Mirror Bandersnatch, all endings explained. Just to let you know, there will be spoilers, obviously. Number 1. Accepting the job at Tuckersoft is something that brings the movie to an end extremely quickly. The game Bandersnatch ends up being severely rushed and getting 0 stars. This is put down to not being able to have the creative freedom that Stefan needs to create the game to the highest standard. Colin comes over and states how you've made a mistake and the movie finishes. Number 2. When you make the decision to go and follow Colin and take drugs and ultimately get high and experience things that you never have before, we are then made aware of Colin's perception of time and the way in which he believes that there are alternate timelines that you fall into, if you were to die in the current one. After we're made aware of this, you then get greeted with the option of making Stefan jump off the edge of the balcony, and if you choose that, then the end will be ever so closer. Number 3. Stefan's loving father wants to take him to the pub for a pint and a pie, and you have the option to either throw tea on the computer or shout at his dad. At this point in the episode, Stefan is stressed to the point where it seems as though he can't even handle it anymore. And by deciding to throw tea over the computer, what do you think happens? You reach an ending, because obviously, tea and a computer isn't the best combination. The game gets destroyed. Number 4. If you choose to not go and follow Colin and not have the experience of getting high and being made aware of all of the alternate timelines, you would have gone to see Dr. Haynes. This would have meant that you would have received the medication that she wanted you to have. Once in the bathroom, you then have the option to either take the medication or not. If you choose to take the pills, then the episode will end again. By taking the pills, it would mean that it would put a lid on Stefan's creative mind and keep him as down to earth as possible. This results in the game being released, but the reviewer stating that it felt like the creator was on autopilot. This ultimately brings an end to the movie. Number 5. Once Stefan starts to realise that he is not in control, you are greeted with an option to inform him that we, meaning Netflix, are in control of him. This results in Stefan's father coming in and holding him tightly, while Stefan states how he wants to go and see a psychologist. Once you're in Dr. Haynes' office, she mentions how he can't be being controlled by somebody. Otherwise, it would be more interesting. Dr. Haynes then asks us if we should add more action and make it more exciting. Then there are 2 options that appear on screen for us to decide. Yeah or yeah. This then results in 2 endings. If you decide to press yeah, then Stefan will try and escape through a window. And whilst trying to do that, a member of the crew will come into the office and you'll see that it's just a set. This leaves Stefan even more confused as he doesn't know who he even is anymore. Or you could just press yeah, and this will lead Stefan to have a massive fight with the doctor, and then when his dad comes in, you fight him as well. This ultimately ends with him dragging Stefan out of the office, resulting in the movie finishing. The endings that involve the safe. During the movie, you see Stefan sneak into his father's secret room, that we see him leave and make sure is locked earlier on in the movie. When Stefan spots a safe, we are shown 2 options to choose from. Although we see 2 options, there are actually 4 options that are available. 2 other options are available if you choose the path to follow Colin and experience the hallucinations, which ultimately leads in Colin jumping off the edge of his balcony. Anyway, here are the codes you could enter. Toy. If you choose this password, you're able to visit the past and make sure that your stuffed toy wasn't lost, and are able to go on the train, which ultimately derails with Stefan's mother on board. This causes Stefan to die on the spot in the chair with the psychiatrist in the present day. This ties into Colin's theory of the timelines, and it's a moment that you're made aware where things aren't quite as straightforward as what they seem. PAC. The code PAC is the code that actually opens the safe and allows you to see inside the government operation called Program and Controlled Study. This is where you allow Stefan to find out that he's actually been being watched, controlled, and given drugs and substances by the government. You also see that all of his memories that cause him a lot of trauma are documented on tape and are fictitious. You see the betrayal on his face when he finds out that his father and his doctor have been in on it his whole life. It's almost like The Truman Show starring Jim Carrey, but a lot darker and more sick and twisted. JFD. When choosing to type in this password into the safe, you are greeted with the psycho killer and author of the book Bandersnatch. With his menacing laugh and close-up shots, it's a sight that is enough to make anybody creeped out when they're least expecting it. PAX. If you choose the option PAX, then the demon from the game Bandersnatch will appear in the episode as a way to frighten you. This is then when the turning point in the movie is, as from here on, when you are shown the option of killing Stefan's father, there is always one definitive ending. Stefan will always go to prison. One ending is where Colin turns up to your house due to Mohan Tucker not believing that you'll actually complete the game despite saying so. If you select to kill Colin, then Colin will bow down and let you whack him over the head. This is due to him believing in the alternate timelines and he doesn't really care what happens in each of them. If you're not able to get the game done in time, then you either get Mohan Tucker turn up, which means that you'll end up killing him off screen, or you'll get Colin's girlfriend asking where Colin is. If this happens, then it means that the dog that we saw in the first half of the episode will be digging up the bodies in the back garden. Number 6. If you choose to chop up Stefan's dad's body, then in the movie, this means that Stefan is in the right mindset, and you see the look in his face that almost implies that he's now free of the burden that was his father. This allows him to complete the game, which goes on to receive 5 stars, and is basically the best game that's been created in a long time. But it's ultimately removed from the shelf and Stefan ends up in prison, due to the murders that he committed. Once this occurs, it's then quite a confusing moment as it skips forward to present day where Colin's daughter Peach is now an adult and has recreated Bandersnatch as a game for Netflix. The work that she has created is what we're currently watching. You see her start up the game and it's the start of the episode that we all see. It then goes on to show us 2 options that we've seen before with Stefan. We can either make Peach throw tea over her computer or destroy it. Whatever option you choose, it brings the movie to an end. And the credits roll. End credit scene. Stefan puts a tape into his cassette player in the scene that we saw earlier on in the episode. He puts a tape titled Bandersnatch into the cassette player and all you can hear is this static noise. It turns out that the static sound was in fact data. This then led some viewers to scan the data on an emulator, and the emulator gave back a QR code that you could scan. By scanning the code, it takes you to a Tuckersoft website, and on the website it shows you all of the games that the company has released. And it also allows you to play Nosedive, and redirects you to the episode Bandersnatch on Netflix, so it's quite an interesting end credit scene. That is all of the known endings for the episode Bandersnatch at the moment. Although Charlie Brooker has stated that there is a super secret ending that he said he can't even remember how to find, so I'm sure that will be extremely interesting when somebody does eventually find it. Bandersnatch was an extremely interesting and innovative way to experience a Black Mirror episode. And if you want to see what I thought about the episode, then click on the I button now to go and see my review. And also, if you want to see the Easter eggs in the episode, then click on the I button too. If you want to support the channel in a different way, then I've recently set up a Patreon, and by going over there, you can get your hands on some exclusive content that's only available on Patreon. Take a look and see what you think. What was your favourite ending of Bandersnatch? What's your favourite episode of Black Mirror? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.